Shalom pitbulls! Because in the last videos we only talked about cars that get women into bed, today we're talking about the exact opposite. It's about vehicles that literally turn every lady in a radius of 500 meters off. These are cars that no man who respects himself would drive. We will start with the Suzuki Vitara X90. This automotive misfit was built from April 1996 to May 1997. The reasons why this car was built for only 13 months are quite obvious. It does belong to the vehicle category of SUVs, but instead of weighing 2.5 tons like a normal superfatso and polluting the environment, the Suzuki weighs only 1 ton. As if that wasn't embarrassing enough, it only has 2 seats, less trunk space than a VW Polo, a Targa roof, and looks like a poor man's convertible. It's bad enough to own such a vehicle, but then to present yourself to the public like this, that's actually assault. Even Wikipedia says the car is unusual. After researching this car, I first had to pour bleach into my eyes to neutralize the sight. A car that was built a little longer is the Pontiac Aztec. Pontiac existed from 1899 to 2010 and belonged to the American company General Motors. Because GM had insolvency problems, they simply sold Pontiac. The car is only known from the series Breaking Bad, where Walter White drives it. And there were 115,000 idiots with hair on their eyes who really thought it was a good idea to get a higher Prius that looked like a praying mantis with Down syndrome. You're not Walter White, my guys. Trust me. The next car looks like an Alabama resident on substances. We're talking about the Chrysler PT Cruiser. Anyone who thinks this car is cool and likes to be seen in it probably also attends swingers parties with their mom. No one, really no one, will think positively of you if you get a vehicle like this. Even if you think you are confident, you are not. You just look stupid in this car. Moving on to the miscarriage called the Daihatsu Materia. I used to have a neighbor who drove one of those things. In the meantime, he has already moved out because nobody liked him. It was either because of his car or because he was so unlikable. It was because of his car. Or maybe he came to sense and voluntarily drove off the cliff to end his misery. Daihatsu is a Japanese car brand that specializes in small cars because Japanese people know small things, right? Who finds this car cool also thinks it is manly to use dog filters on Snapchat. The Subaru Libero also has a questionable target group. I don't know why, but my first thought about this vehicle was just an owner who has to decide whether he wants to be pansexual or objectophile today. Let's continue quickly, before I throw up. Also, a Toyota should not be missing on this list, because Toyota is quite good at building ugly cars, like the Toyota Town Ace. The Town Ace has been built since 1976 and is in its 6th generation since 2008, where it just looks like a normal van. But all the previous generations were ugly as hell, or as my ex-girlfriend. Moving on to the Aixam. What sounds like a disease is actually this little Citroen Ami 21 mobile. Before I voluntarily get into this car, I personally would rather have my testicles pierced. Oh! Whether one can still help people who drive this car, I dare to doubt. What is also small and even uglier is the Citroen Ami. A car where you don't know where the front and the back are. Like a worm. I don't need to say anything else about it. This car is ugly and that's it. But now we come to the ugliest car by far. It's the Antichrist of the automotive industry, the Karen of vehicles. It is the definition of ugly, the Fiat Multipla. Whoever buys such a vehicle must have one or another complex. The one who wants to get something like this voluntarily probably pays money to see men naked on the internet and then talks himself into believing something like this is a normal behavior in front of the mirror because he's on fucking crack. Those of you who still haven't understood satire or sarcasm belong stoned and are welcome to give a thumbs down on this video, because it won't make your sad lives any better. Otherwise, like this video and I'll make a second part of cars uglier than your mothers. Subscribe to this channel and share this video with your imaginary friends. See you next time, cheers!